Now, the British new Labor government has appointed one of its top security bureaucrats to review the AUKUS partnership. The Nightly reports that Sir Stephen Lovegrove will pore over the progress and benefits of AUKUS and report to the government in October. Now, this AUKUS partnership between the US, the UK and Australia is critical to our national security. And as the American Congressman Michael McCaul told me last week, it is the single biggest deterrent against China right now. Former Prime Minister Scott Morrison orchestrated the AUKUS deal, and when he learned that it was Stephen Lovegrove who was going to lead this review, he wasn't concerned in the slightest. Now, Scott Morrison was travelling. He couldn't be on this show tonight, but he told me the review of AUKUS by Stephen Lovegrove is a welcome development and provides the opportunity for a refreshed UK commitment to AUKUS from the Starmer government. He said Stephen was in the room with Boris, President Biden and I when we founded AUKUS and was instrumental in bringing AUKUS into being. No one other than Boris would have a better understanding of the ambitions, purpose and need for AUKUS in the UK than Stephen. He said, I look forward to seeing his report and commend the Starmer government for appointing him to this important task. And while Scott Morrison couldn't be on the show tonight, he will be on my program early next week to discuss this and other topics. But for now, let's bring in Strategic Analysis Australia Director Peter Jennings. Peter, great to see you again. Why would Keir Starmer be ordering a review into AUKUS?
Well, it's a new government, and I guess he needs to persuade that huge backbench of MPs that Labor now has, keeping them in government, that this is something that's going to work from a Labor perspective as well. I agree with Scott Morrison's take. I think that I would be astonished if anything negative came out of the review. And importantly, for AUKUS to work, each of the three countries that are partners, Sharri, need to get something from it. It's not about a charitable act towards strengthening Australia's defence. What the British get is a strengthened defence industry, and we'll get benefit from that. What the Americans get is a stronger ally in the Indo-Pacific. So each of the three countries needs to get a benefit, and I'm sure this review will put the case to Keir Starmer that the UK is a strong beneficiary from AUKUS as well.
Peter, I'd like to ask you about the Gazan visa issue. Now, Tony Burke, the minister, has categorically said that no government in its right mind would send people back to Gaza. Now, the Palestinians are here on visitor visas. They have an expiration date. So what do you expect will happen when that time is up in the near future?
I think it's very clear, Sharri. Those visitor visas last for 12 months. And so if we can assume, and we know that a number of them were being issued from sort of mid-October on, that right now there will be people with those visas who will be applying for asylum status in Australia in order to remain permanently. And the thing about asylum status, as I understand it, is a minister has to make that authorisation. They have to authorise that a person can make an application for that. And so what we've seen in the last fortnight is the government essentially trying to push this problem onto, firstly, the intelligence agencies, get Mike Burgess in front of the cameras. He'll look after it for us. Yeah. Then saying that there is a process which is going to happen somehow completely removed from any politician taking responsibility for allowing those people in. But now we are, in coming months, going to have a constant stream of the 1,300 that are in Australia, I believe, applying for asylum status. And that is going to land directly on the desk of the Immigration Minister.
I didn't mean to laugh then when you were making a serious point about Mike Burgess assuring Australians that he was taking care of security. I mean, I think there's been a loss of confidence in ASIO after they said that people with rhetorical support for Hamas were welcome into the country. You know, I think that interview has proved problematic. But before you get into that, Peter, I want to ask you as well. We've just seen the Democratic National Convention rolling out at the moment. Kamala Harris being represented to the American public as though she were a brand new candidate, not the current VP as part of the current Biden administration. What do you think a Kamala Harris presidency would look like?
I think if Kamala Harris becomes president, she's going to become the American Jacinda Ardern, Sharri. She's going to be very focused on performative, theatrical politics of a woke, progressive variety. And that's going to be an unusual thing to see from the White House, even after having Obama and Biden in the chair for so many years. How is it going to be possible for her to do that at the same time as she's responsible for example, modernising America's nuclear weapons arsenal, which is something that is happening right now, or for maintaining deterrence not just against Russia, but Russia, China, North Korea and Iran, because those four countries are kind of sequencing their behaviour together. I think this is going to be a very challenging span for President Harris to try and cover, from on the one hand playing to the pro-Palestinian student crowds occupying university campuses as they did, through to playing that serious role of being the global national security guardian, which only the United States can do. But certainly at the moment, I think the model is Jacinda Ardern. That's what I see Kamala looking like in terms of how she's presenting herself in the run-up to the presidential election.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if she does become subject to any scrutiny regarding her policies. Peter Jennings, always wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you. Really appreciate it.